So, deep state politics and human engineering in the 21st century. What do we get from that? The 21st century, human engineering, deep state politics. Thus far, we've argued that the political economic formulation by the deep state to create world federalism needs to be connected with an esoteric agenda that begins and ends with human engineering. And I want to introduce right now the concept of biopolitics and Michael Foucault. And let's begin with Michael Foucault. Now, to some, he defined biopolitics in the 1970s. I go back to the late 19th century and a handful of German and Swedish thinkers that used biopolitics in a way that was connected to the project of empire, which is ultimately the project of world federalism and human engineering as well. So, Michael Foucault, who was he? Well, he was a thinker that was around about, especially in the 1970s, and he would define biopolitics. I would say what's consistent with Michael Foucault or any other scholar of biopolitics, it's this play between um, biology and politics, which is sort of strange when you think about it. The definition of politics is really who gets what, where, and when by whom. So it's a study of power and human relations. Um, but biopolitics brings the body into it and power over the body, but that's really already embedded in the definition of politics. But it's going to especially look at the relationships between power and power over the body. And Foucault would say that there's social and political power over life itself. Now he's going to interestingly say that there was a particular power in the world of monarchs, the world of kings, that they literally had the power. Their sovereignty was based on the idea of deciding who gets to live and who gets to die. And something was sort of transformed in the modern world. The decision about who gets to live and gets to die is sort of disguised in our modern republics or our modern democratic form of government. He discusses that, and I can go into that a little bit. But what I want to do now is just kind of lay out why Foucault spills the beans, because most of us don't want to sit around and listen to a lecture on Michael Foucault, of all people in the world. But strangely enough, we don't, to my knowledge, nobody's ever connected Foucault to the New World Order, but he did. Foucault spoke very directly about this oligarchical class that would create an empire in order to have the construction of a master race that would use the secrets of empire for this final project. So he's really getting into it. But before I get into that, we have to kind of think that there's two Foucaults. The one that's there at the university was kind of discussed that talks about um, everything from the police state to gay rights. But I am going to argue that there's an esoteric Foucault who is really putting it right out there in the 1970s, the deep state agenda. And so I want to get into a little of that, and I want to highlight the parts that I think are kind of exciting about Foucault, and I've been doing this for quite a few years now, I'm quite certain you're going to hear this nowhere else. So um, if you like, work with me, and I'm really open to anybody else's interpretation on this. But Foucault, in short, is going to use biopolitics. He's going to say that he's going to look at politics in terms of there's the visible, and he's going to look at the invisible, the things you can't see. So he's really thinking in deep state terms. He wants to examine who has control over the essential life processes and how they're managed in the modern state. So he's going to say biopolitics, according to Foucault himself, is the technologies or the institutions that manage life. And he's really interested in entire populations. And so he doesn't want to just look at the national level like so many people usually do in politics, but he's going to look at it. That's why he uses words like empire.